Good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well. Cleveland today, we've got some sunshine, so that always makes it a better day. But hey, you guys have questions and I have answers for you. So we've been so busy here trying to finalize some students with their deadlines. And just to give you some perspective, I have a student that I've been working with. She's already applied to numerous schools. And yesterday she wanted me to edit one of her last essays for a deadline yesterday. And I'm scrolling through the Google Doc we've shared where all of her essays have lived. And I said to her, what page is this essay on? I can't seem to find it. It's on page 84 out of the 87-page Google Doc that we've been sharing essays on. So imagine your child writing 87 pages of essays. That might be really hard to imagine. That's what we do here. We get it done. We help them. A lot of them have been, we're going to take this piece of this essay, we're going to move that piece down here too because we're going to repurpose it for another essay. So not all 87 pages are brand new thoughts, but they have to fit the prompts. And so just to give you an idea, we're working hard doing that. We're answering financial aid questions for families. We're helping other students right now, our juniors, really kind of hone in on what schools will be a good fit so they can start planning visits while visits are still available, because gosh, these days we just don't know, right? And we're also working hard on our December ACT. So heads up, this Friday, last day to sign up for the December ACT. If you want to give your kid a head start, have them take the test, get a baseline, see where they're at. Or if they've been doing some prep and you want to see how it's going for them, you don't want their back up against the wall next fall, still having to test. So try to get that done and handled as soon as you can. Let me tell you, while they will give you resistance at first, they will be so happy when they start their senior year and that monkey's off their back and they've already got applications in. So speaking of applications in, we've got thousands of applications already in this year. It's crazy. And we've got a ton of acceptances. And I just tallied what we've been notified about so far. We have over $1 million in scholarships that have already been awarded to our students, which is so exciting, so exciting. But that brings me to the next point. We've got questions on here. My assistant Rhea, a lot of you guys know, she posted a question on here. Do we have questions? And we have a couple. And so Karen and Carla both posted, and they're both regarding kind of the same thing about FAFSA. So that's great. If you have your FAFSA done, fabulous. If you don't sweat it. I know schools are pushing hard for it, but for most schools, it is not as time sensitive as they like to make you believe. So don't sweat it, okay? There's still time. Relax, take a deep breath. It's okay. But if you've already got your FAFSA done, it's like a waiting game. You're waiting, like, when am I going to get that financial aid award letter? Some of you are receiving acceptances with scholarships. Like I said, we've got well over $1 million already amassed through our students. But some schools don't do that. Some schools, you do not see your complete financial aid award letter until they release it. And for most schools, that is not until after the new year. So if you have done your FAFSA, you've got your applications in, and you're sitting and waiting, you may be waiting a while. There are some schools that will not release their financial aid award letters until well into March. Now, financial aid, just so you understand, is an umbrella term. Financial aid is all monies that are going to pay for school. So some of it could be grant money or need-based money. That's determined by the results of the FAFSA. FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. Some of the money could be scholarship money. It could be merit awards. You've earned this because of your grades, test scores, leadership, volunteer work, something along those lines. Some of it could be additional scholarships. Last night, my last appointment was helping a student who has already received 85% tuition in a scholarship. So he's got 15% left of tuition cost plus his room and board, and he's like, I need more. I want to make this as free as possible for me. So he's working on essays. That's what we were doing last night, working on some additional scholarship opportunities for him. But until you receive that financial aid award letter, you don't know what that complete picture is. In that financial aid award letter, if you have filed the FAFSA, there will also be your $5,500 in freshman student loans. That's what every freshman gets, $5,500, unless they have a felony drug conviction. So you'll have $5,500, you'll have any grant money or need-based money that has been determined by the results of your FAFSA, and then you'll have any scholarships or additional merit money based on some criteria that they've established. The bottom line then is what you will end up owing. And again, it's like return policies at stores. Everybody does it their own way. So you may be, some schools have given acceptances and right with it, here's merit money. Others, here's your acceptance. And you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And yes, it's really frustrating. Karen or Carla, somebody asked the question though, can I negotiate this? Yes, perhaps. So when you're negotiating with a school, the number one thing is you had to have filed a FAFSA. If you have not filed a FAFSA, and a lot of people don't, they say, you know what, I'm not filing. I know we won't qualify for need-based money. My kid doesn't need to take out a student loan, so I'm not going to file. Okay, great. It's very difficult for you to negotiate with the school because the school is like, why? Why would we give you this money? What need do you have? And they have no reliable source of information on which to judge that if you haven't completed a FAFSA. If you think that you can just say, well, my kid's going to go someplace else, they probably don't care. Most schools, now there's some small schools out there or some schools who are still kind of reeling from COVID and they're looking for as many kids as possible. But most schools have an overabundance of applications. And, it's one of those things. It's nothing personal. They don't know your child. They only have that piece of paper and they can easily say next. So to negotiate, make sure that you have filed the FAFSA if you need to do that. To negotiate, what you're asking for is a professional judgment on what you can actually afford. That's something we do help families with because you want to keep emotions out of it, and that's super hard. You want the best for your child. Like, oh my gosh, I want my kid to be able to go here. It's its #1 school, and we really want to make it happen, and we're trying so hard. Yeah, they don't care about all that. They want hard, fast facts. And we've been very successful in helping families negotiate because we're very good at distilling all that emotion into what are the facts that we can leverage to help you get more money. So if you have a concern and you have the actual finalized financial aid award letter, and we know it's finalized if your student loans appear on that financial aid award letter, then we can definitely discuss that and how we could potentially help you get a professional judgment in your favor to get more money. I know I had posted previously, Caroline had given us a review or a testimonial about how after the professional judgment, one of her kids is going to school for almost free and the other one's paying $9,000 a year, which you can't beat that. And originally that was not the picture. So we were very successful in helping them go through the process and really educating them on what they needed to do and provide and so forth, kind of walking them through it. So you won't get your financial aid award letter regardless of when you filed the FAFSA until the school decides to send them out. Again, that can be as late as March. Schools don't really like to get a lot of phone calls regarding this, so I would really tell you at this point, we're so early in the admission process. I know it doesn't feel like it for you, but trust me, in the entire cycle of thing and what they're looking at, we're early. So don't reach out to schools right now. That's just going to be seen as an annoyance to them at this point. Remember, decision day is May 1st. Your child does not need to make a decision until then. I know if your child has been accepted someplace, colleges, they're businesses. They want you to make your housing deposit. Why? Because they want to know you're coming. They know that once you've coughed up that $300 for a housing deposit or whatever it is at the schools you're looking at, they know you are less likely to change your mind. And their job is to fill their class. And they know it's getting full as housing deposits start to roll in. So don't feel the pressure of that, okay? The whole scare tactic of you won't get your first choice in housing, trust me, they haven't even accepted all their kids yet, let alone had them all responding. A lot of people are going to wait a lot longer to see what other schools accept them. So don't panic with that. I mean, if you know it's the perfect place for your kid and you're willing to pay whatever when the financial aid award letter comes and you want to put down the housing deposit, have at it. But don't feel like you're being pressured to do something you're not ready to do. It's way too early in the game. You do not need to do that. Again, it's a marketing tactic on behalf of the college. They need to know they're filling their class. They're looking for those markers along the way of how many housing deposits do we have in, what percentage of the class that we've accepted thus far, and they're just using it as a metric for them. So don't feel that pressure. If you have other questions, please post them on the group, because we're looking for more questions. We want to make sure we're staying in tune with what you are needing. Like I said, we've been so busy here. We've got some December 1st deadlines coming up for colleges. We're working on getting students prepared and ready and finalized to submit those applications. But we are still taking some new clients. So if you have questions or you feel like your child needs some help, they're not getting it done, they're not getting it done quick enough, they're unwilling to share with you what they've written, you're concerned, by all means, that is a great opportunity for you to jump on a call with us. Let's see if it can work to your benefit. You don't need to be stressed about it. Your child doesn't need to be stressed about it. The one thing that kids always say, they're like, oh my gosh, you made this so much easier. I thought this was going to be so hard. No, we do make it easy. We know how to do this. We know how to do it very efficiently, so that they're not trying to start from scratch with every essay prompt they read. I had a girl yesterday from California. She was actually on the phone with one of my success coaches, and they were talking about one of the essays she wrote was just not hitting the mark. And my success coach was kind of talking her through like, well, what else could we write about in this particular instance to make you stand out? And I had worked with her older sister last year, so I kind of had a little bit of an advantage. And unfortunately for all my success coaches, I'm always kind of eavesdropping. So I stepped out of my office and I said, oh, can I interject for a moment? And they're like, yeah. And I said, hey, you know, I happen to know this, this, and this. And I think you could talk about, you know, how different the two of you are and in what ways that has created a leader in you. And the girl was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That is definitely something we could talk about. And boom, an hour later, essay done. So it's interesting to see how quickly we can pick up on things from kids and how quickly we can really get them to open up and talk about things that are way beyond the surface. So again, if you need some help with that, give us, schedule a call. Or if you have questions about financial aid, please drop your comments, or questions about anything in the process. Drop your comments. Happy to help and make the whole process easier for everyone. I think it's super challenging. I don't think it should feel so stressful for everyone. And, my goal is to make it easier. I hope that helped everybody who's on the call, everybody who listens to this, and we will be doing more lives just to answer your questions. So please post them in there. Talk to you soon.